Black Sunday. So let's talk about your legacy. You know, all life is kind of programmed to just want to keep on living. There's a reason we want to continue living. There's a reason that we consider life sacred. It's finite, and there's a reason that we produce children. There's a reason that we seek to build things that last. You see, life wants to keep on living. We still don't scientifically understand all of the intricacies and reasons behind life. We know that it exists and we understand many functionalities of it. Needless to say, there are still holes in our knowledge. That's fine. The problem is that, we are wired hard for survival. We are very, very hardwired for survival. Survival of the species, really, first and foremost, and from survival of the self, at least long enough to reproduce. And as far as the functionality of that goes, it really appears to be not only the ability to adapt to the ever-changing environment and whatnot, and maintaining kind of a homeostasis, but it also seems to be just the fact that life kind of seems to like living and wants to keep on living. And as rational beings, we can look at those circumstances and we can apply meaning to them that is unknown or not apparent to lower forms of intelligence. And for good or ill, that has certainly shaped our culture. It has shaped our perception of the world. It has shaped so much of everything that makes us human. And so we all are looking for a legacy, and so many people, especially in times past, have looked for their legacy to be their children. We live in a world now that is strapped for resources, that is terribly out of balance. We live in a world where, I hesitate to say overpopulated, because there's a lot of resource wasting that happens. I have a feeling that if we managed our resources better, we could certainly deal with many, many more people. We're certainly not overpopulated for space. And with technology and better resource management, we could certainly do better and more. But that's beside the point. The fact is that we're kind of outgrowing our britches. And it's not always the best thing to have a lot of children anymore. It's certainly not the resource-wise thing to do. And so that leaves you with, how else do you pass on your legacy? You pass it on through your work. Now, do I mean your literal income day job? Not necessarily. Maybe you're an artist, maybe you're a writer, maybe you're a musician. I recognize that artists and writers are, or musicians and writers are artists. I'm just classifying here. But you see, we all want to live forever, and we know we can't. So we want to leave something that will transcend our simple life. We want to go to our death knowing that we contributed something to the world, contributed something to the ongoing mission of life, continuing living. We want to go to our grave knowing that not all of us is dead. And I think it is important to have the ambition to build something, to produce something that will transcend that. Your family name is not always going to be that thing. And quite honestly, it's not that important to me if my name continues on into the future. But for my work, for the things that I uncover, for the things that have made my life better, that have helped me help other people, for those things to continue on is important to me. I would rather you remember Black Sun Renaissance and forget that Solomon ever existed. I would rather you understand that the method, the discovery, the principles of liberty and non-dogmatism, I would rather that those live on into the future. My wife is a writer. My younger brother-in-law is a musician. There's, over and over again, we find that people will do what they can to contribute to life, to make life more enjoyable, but to contribute something to life that will help them transcend one lifetime. And I want you to stop and consider what your ambition is. Do you want to have a family? There's nothing wrong with that. If you want to simply spread your genes and make your family name live, do that. Raise up a very quality generation. Please be a good parent and raise your children in such a way that they make the world better and not just keep on riding the broken system we're in now. If not, do something with yourself. Even if one person remembers you after you're gone, that is something more than many people have. If somebody has something to pass on to somebody else and says, well, you know, Uncle George wrote this so many years ago, and I want you to read it too, because it put a smile on my face when I read it for the first time, and I know you're only 6, but one day you'll understand, and you'll feel that smile too. That's important. It's important to all of us. You see, we are social creatures. We're individuals first, we're social second, but it's a very close second. You see, we're all interdependent. And the quest for immortality is perhaps fruitless, but even fruitless as it may be, there is some merit in it, in that we can make the next generation better. We can make tomorrow better. We can always take one step at a time and make it a little better, improve it a little bit. Life is amazing. Humans are amazing. People, but as a species, wow. As individuals, wow. I mean, don't let society crush you. Don't let the status quo crush you. Don't let the fire burn out. You know, do something with it. Do something with your life. Build your legacy. Me? I'm building a Kung Fu empire. Not to compete with China, not to stomp on the masters before me, not to include myself among the masters. Don't call me master, I'm not. But to take the meaning of it. It's a very eloquent meaning. It's the application of effort over a long period of time to gain a skill. It is, succinctly, it is Kung Fu. It is the ideal of the Renaissance man. It is the idea of applying effort to skill and learning. And not just one, but over many. Because Kung Fu is not just martial arts. In fact, Kung Fu does not mean martial arts. Kung Fu only means hard work. So, you see, it's important. It's important to me that my Kung Fu message get out there. It's not important that Solomon lives. It's important that Kung Fu lives. It's my mission in life. To bring back some of the traditions. You'll hear me say that tradition is a prison, and it is when unchecked, when meaningless, when followed blindly. But some traditions exist for a reason. Some of the old Kung Fu traditions of masters who were masters of the fighting arts, the healing arts, the arts, business and trade, masters of multiple disciplines. It's important. And you see, it is my mission in life to bring back Kung Fu culture in such a way that maybe never even existed, that only existed in the romance stories, and that's fine. But that's the legacy I'm building. I want you to think about what the legacy you leave behind is. Are you an artist? Are you a musician? Are you a game designer? Are you, what are you? What are you contributing to life? How is your name? How is your work? How is your essence going to live on? It's just something to think about. Good journey.